culturally tailored education from different nutrition professionals, our registered nutritionists, our dietitians, our public health experts, and our nutrition academics. Last week, I mentioned that the whole of March, we are going to be celebrating women. So we're going to be discussing topics that affect women. So we started with nutrition and fibroids. Today, we are doing something different. We are going to look at infant and child feeding practices, explore the challenges, the cultural factors that influence these practices. Now, I have a panel of experienced people, a registered dietitian, a nutritionist. I have moms, and I have you, the audience, as well. And we are going to have a discussion on some of the factors that influence us and affect our daily feeding practices. I like to urge everyone to participate. You know, we are going to be the panel, but I want people to also contribute. Feel free to put in your thoughts, your experiences in the chat box. If you want to speak, just put up your hand and we will unmute you and give you the chance to share your experience as well. I am your host, Dr. Hibbah Osei-Kwasi. I'm a registered nutritionist and an academic here in the UK. So without much ado, I will invite my panelists. I'll ask Shekinah to kindly spotlight them and get them to introduce themselves before I set the scene for today's discussion. So please, wherever you are, Facebook, YouTube, join us. As I said, put in your thoughts, your experiences, your questions in the chat box, and we will address these for you as we go along. So, if my panel members have been spotlighted, not yet, then I can call you one by one to introduce yourselves. Yes, I see the first person. I see Janet. We also have a mom, a new mom, Mina. And then I think one person has just sent her apologies, so she might join us in a few minutes. Yes, so can we add Mina to it as well, if that's possible? Mina, can you put on your camera, please, so we can add you to we can spotlight you. Yes, thank you. Okay, so Ditope, please, would you start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, Hibbah, for this opportunity to engage with your audience. I don't take it lightly that you approached me to come and be part of this panel of engagement. My name is clearly depicted there. I'm a mother, and I guess that I have a reason why I'm introducing myself in this way. I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm an aunt, and one day I wish to be a grandmother. That's my wish. I am a lecturer at the University of Limpopo. Those who don't know Limpopo is in South Africa, Limpopo province. The rural area, we usually call it the Garden of Eden, and I'm working there. And currently I'm in the UK. I'm a joint PhD student with Loughborough University in the UK and Stellenbosch University. So I'm busy with my research, and my interests are in infant nutrition. Bring a child next to me, I'll be able to help you in terms of the nutritional needs. And thank you.
Thank you, Ditope. So you see why you were just the right person to bring here as our expert today. Thank you for accepting to be part of the panel. Janet, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hello everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Hibbah, for this opportunity. Yeah, so my name is Janet Adjei. Originally from Ghana, but I live in the UK now, and I am a community nutritionist. Nutrition, health, public health is my passion. So I'm happy to be part of the panel today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Janet. And then our new mom amongst the panel, Mina.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello. Good
and
evening.
Dr. Hibbah, thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Mina Said. I am from Ghana and I live in Ghana. I'm a mother of two and I'm the co-founder of an NGO called Multi-Tika International based in Ghana, and we basically focus on maternal health issues.
Okay.
I'm so happy to be part of the panel, and thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. We have one more person, Nusrat. I'm told that we would need your camera on for you to be spotlighted. Can you switch on your camera and introduce yourself briefly?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. Yeah, can you see me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
Sorry, it's just been a kind of
Hectic
rush.
day.
I just came up from the yeah.
I know.
It's noisy. So I'm Nusrat, a mother of 4, and then I work as an adult. I'm an adult nurse. So and I'm a registered childminder as well. So nutrition among children and adults, it's something that I have passion about. But currently I'm teaching nursing skills with Manchester Metropolitan University. So that's me.
Thank you. Yes. So you're also just the right person to join today's discussion. Right, to set the scene for us to start our discussion, let me just share some key facts. So according to the WHO, every infant and child has the right to good nutrition based on the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Now, latest evidence globally shows that about 44% of infants between the ages of 0 and 6 months are exclusively breastfed. So that's the latest evidence from WHO. Few children receive nutritionally adequate and safe complementary foods. Close to 1 million children's lives could be saved every year among children under 5 years if all children under 2 years were optimally breastfed. We all do know, everyone here knows that breastfeeding improves IQ. We know that it improves school attendance. It is associated with a higher income in adult life. And therefore, improving child development and reducing health costs through breastfeeding results in economic gains, not only for individual families, but as well as the nation, so at national levels. It is on this basis that WHO and UNICEF recommends what? Early initiation of breastfeeding within 1 hour of birth, exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life, and the introduction of nutritionally adequate and safe complementary foods at 6 months, together with continued breastfeeding up to 2 years of age or beyond. I'm sure a lot of us here know about these facts. I mean, even if we don't know the statistics, we do know that we are supposed to exclusively breastfeed. We know the importance. So my first question goes to Ditope. What is your experience in South Africa or over the years? I mean, you are a very experienced dietitian. Are women following these guidelines in those areas that you've worked? You unmute. We can't hear you.
I am unmuting.
Yeah,
I've seen that. Thank you, Hibbah. Maybe before I can say whether mothers are following or not following, I just want to proudly say the 44% that you spoke about from the WHO, we as South Africa contributed almost 32% to it. So we are really moving. We are really moving. In 2016, we saw an improvement in the rate of exclusive breastfeeding. So then the other thing is, the message is clear. When you read literature, it indicates that most people, if not all, know what is the right thing. They know that they're supposed to be breastfeeding exclusively for the first 6 months of the child's life. I usually say, if you are unable to calculate the 6 months, just say first 180 days of the child's life. I think it would be easier to say, today you are day 38, day 39, for you to can be able to do that. So then the other thing is, even the definition is clear. You are not to give anything to the child but breast milk and breast milk, because it has been shown from research, from scientific evidence that it is the golden standard of feeding any child before 24 months of age, and even beyond. And beyond is beyond. That's how it is. And I think the key challenge is there's a lot of myth that is surrounding breastfeeding. And the first thing is, I'm not sure it's a myth or not, the experience. You know, if you are a first-time mother, everybody thinks that you don't know what you'll be doing post-childbirth. So there'll be that person who'll be coming to your household to try and help you. And in most cases, these are older people who were not exclusive breastfeeding, who breastfed and also introduced other things. Other things can be anything like water, can be anything like an infant formula. It can be anything like all those sort of things that they use, either mixing with water or mixing with breast milk. So these people do not have that experience. So now when you come with your knowledge, and I want to put emphasis on the knowledge, please do not make a mistake that to say mothers do not know. She comes with this knowledge from the healthcare, as our healthcare systems, because we teach them, but then comes home, there's a granny, a mother, a sister who has a different experience. And the challenge is you only see the consequences of not doing it right later in life. Maybe they have not yet experienced the consequences of inappropriate complementary feeding, so they don't know. They'll tell you, we fed you like this. Today you have a child, so don't come with your stories and start saying you are going to give this child nothing else but breast milk. So as a result, it becomes more like, lack of a better term, a warfare between the mother who has knowledge but little experience, and a parent or a caregiver, a supporting member who has knowledge and who has inadequate knowledge, so to say, but with practice. And remember, the practice brought you in. So I think for starters, I think that is where we need to crack it.
To focus on.
Who is giving this mother, who's supporting this mother? That person is the one that we are supposed to be giving the information to, including the mother herself. Yeah, so that is why we are having this challenge. As much as we are happy at 32%, that is not where we want to be. That is not where United Nations want us to be. So, but we are just saying half a loaf is better than none. Really, we're supposed to be getting the whole loaf. I talk a lot. Let me give others a chance. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll come back to you. Now, let me share my own experience. You know, when you say that we have the knowledge and then our people who support us have the experience. So when I had my son, who is now 4 years, my mom visited from Ghana. And then when he was 3 months, my mom kept saying, your son is thirsty. Hibbah, your son is thirsty. Give him some water. And I'm like, Mom, I'm a nutritionist. I educate people. And I'm telling you that the breast milk has enough water. Then my mom went like, do you think if I had not given you water, you'd be where you are today? You know, her point was like, she's much more experienced than I am. So I should, no, but I didn't budge. You know, I was able to still, but the thing is, I was at home at that time. And so I was able to monitor her and make sure she would not give my son water. But then I think about people who have to work before the 6 months, leaving their kids with, you know, moms and caregivers who have a different belief. They actually think they are doing you good by introducing water, you know. So that becomes one of the bones of contention. Now, let me go to Janet. Janet, you are based in the UK now. You're a mother. Can you just share your experience of feeding your infants? Any experience at all before we get into the challenges?
Yes. For me, I think right from the beginning, even though I'm a nutritionist and I have all the knowledge that I need, it was very puzzling because I realized that it's a new experience for me. It's different if you're counseling somebody, you're telling the person, but when you're actually having to do it, it can be a bit difficult. You can't, it's a new experience for you, it's a new experience for your baby. They're also learning to breastfeed or to eat, so to say. So my first child was a case study. She would, yes, they did all the right things at the hospital, gave her to me right after birth, everything. She tried to crawl up to the breast, which I was very impressed with. And then she suckles once, twice, and she started sleeping. And that was all she was doing. She'll just suckle once, twice, and she's sleeping. And she kept waking up within short intervals because she hasn't eaten well. And it was so stressful. The nutritionists, the midwives, they would all come, give her a little pinch under her feet. She would wake up. I do that. She wakes up, that's two, and then stops. So it was a lot of things to think about. I was stressed up at some point because new mother, no sleep, and your child is waking up every 10 minutes and she's crying because she's hungry. Yeah, so it can be quite challenging. Yes, you can have all the knowledge, but sometimes actually practicing it becomes a problem. I ended up doing other things I'm sure we'll talk about. One of the things I did was I expressed the milk and I fed it with a syringe, which was much better. It turns out that my daughter was just lazy. She just was lazy to do it. But when she
I'm not sure about that.
When she got a hang of it, oh my goodness, she wouldn't even take express milk in the bottle. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'll call it laziness. Ditope, do you want to comment on that? I would think that. You see,
I'm happy. I'm happy for this lazy child who refused to drink from a bottle. Thanks to that child. Thanks to that child. And I think that the experience that Janet is giving, it's what a lot of mothers normally tell us, to say as much as we think it's easy through education, as much as we think when we give you all the strategies that you need to apply in order for you to exclusively breastfeed your child, we still have some mothers who have challenges. That is why we are here as healthcare professionals. That is why you have all the supporters, professional supporters who are trained, who have all the information. I guess by now, each and every country has a registered dietitian. I'm one of them. Each and every country has a nutritionist. You have a wide range of healthcare workers who can be able to assist in such case, including your very own midwives.
Here we have health visitors.
Yeah. Because remember, that one of the recommendations is we are not to give breast milk using a bottle. So that's the reason I'm saying I'm quite happy. And you are not the only mother who struggled, even though you're a healthcare worker. There's a lot who struggles. So, but then the support is what it's required. And maybe to share my 2 cents experience in terms of what you have just said, shared with you. I also had a similar challenge being a dietitian with all the information with my first child. I'm taking this from experience and I'm saying it with passion. But I guess what really helped me was reading a lot, because it's breastfeeding and all other things that goes with taking care of an infant. So if you read a lot to try and try and support yourself, or make sure that you are engaged with the information, that really assists, and knowing where to.
Ditope, let me interrupt you here.
Thank you.
Let me interrupt you here. Sorry. So reading a lot. Did you mean reading before the baby came? Because when baby comes, what time do you have to read? What did you mean by reading a lot? Is this before your baby came?
Hey, Hibbah, you read whilst you're still pregnant. You read. I don't know. And like I said, not only about breastfeeding.
I'm not sure if this reading is not because you're an academic. Not everybody likes reading.
I wasn't. I have a 24-year-old son now.
Yeah.
I was still waking. Okay, I had the knowledge because I'm a dietitian.
Yeah.
Yes, and I could, assist people to practice. Maybe that you might be right. Yeah, you might be right.
No, I can tell you for a fact, based on my research on African and Caribbean people I've spoken to, in fact, let me not generalize it, the Ghanaian community that I've spoken to, that they're like, if you bring us information on brochures, we will not read it. We are too busy. Immigrants in this country don't have time for those things. Mothers are not now going to read information on breastfeeding.
But they don't know that knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. It's really knowledge is power.
I get the point here.
Yeah.
That someone says, I don't think the reading is practical. So this is a UK mom telling you this. Our people here have 2-3 jobs. Sometimes people just, and it's something, we should adopt, but it's just people are like, we don't have time, but then there would be some people who like reading. And if you are that kind, even if you are not, what Ditope is saying is that knowledge is power. So try and read as well. Thank you. Now let's hear from another UK mom. Nusrat, do you want to tell us your experience? Just any experience with breastfeeding or infant feeding before we go to the main challenges and what is causing problems for people? Yes.
Oh, okay. So with mine, to come to that aspect of the reading aspect, I guess when you have a baby, all your mind is about the baby. So I don't know how some people manage to have time to do that kind of reading. So with me, I've got 4 children. So with the 4th one, I thought, even when the healthsters and the midwives, when they saw me, they were thinking, oh, she's a mother of 3 already. So they think I'm an expert, I know. And with my history, they go through and said, oh, she's also a nurse. So there are some things they don't even, I've even forgotten about it because my 3rd one was about 8 years. So you look at that gap, and I was not even ready for another one. So it's just a surprise. And the one thing about breastfeeding specifically was when I had the 4th one, how to even position the baby on the breast was a problem. But all the health visitors thought, because I'm a mother of 4, I should be expert, I should be on that part. So they were not even talking about it. And with my background as a nurse, that was not something that we were discussing. So I've tried, and then this baby will still be crying. I was like, what am I doing wrong? What is going on? I couldn't figure out anything until when she came around one day, my health and I said, you know what? Let me put the baby on and then have a look and see. And she was like, oh, is that what you were doing there? So it got to a point that I realized that, all right, so she had to show me, although I'm a mother of 4. So there's some things we think, some of them even think, oh, we know. It's not, you can easily forget about how to do it. And it doesn't matter whether you're a mother of 10 or, and if you don't know, sometimes it's just up to us to ask. Because if I've not asked her, she would assume because I'm a mother of 4, I know how to do all those things. But it's really helped because it got to a point that she was just sucking and you could see the happiness. And when it comes to the drinking of, with all my children, I would do exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months. But my mom was like, this is your 4th child because you are too old. She's so tiny. You need to start her eating. You need to start her doing all sorts of stuff. And I was like, no. I keep advising people to do the exclusive breastfeeding. So why should I? And you realize that the more you give the breast to the child, the more you get more milk. Because some people complain that they don't even, I've got small breasts. It doesn't even matter. The more you position, the more you feel comfortable giving it to the child, to the baby, it will come. You get to a point it will just soak even your clothes and other stuff.
Your clothing. Yeah. Thank you, Nus. 2 things I picked from there, that mothers constantly need support. It doesn't matter how many children you've had. Some mothers would, constantly, and that's why I wanted a health visitor, because here the health visitors provide this kind of support. When you have a child, your health visitor will come to your house, but unfortunately I couldn't get one. But the support is out there. You know, there's a lot of support. We'll talk about it before we end today's show. So please reach out. You know, if you're struggling, there is a lot of support wherever you are. You know, this is a serious issue. All countries and nations have taken it up. And so there is support everywhere you are in the world. Let's hear from someone in Ghana. Mina, you just had a baby. Please tell us your experience.
Okay, so with my child, my daughter, I'm able to do exclusive breastfeeding. But my firstborn, that's my son, I wasn't able to do that. As much as we advocate for exclusive breastfeeding, we have to know that the ultimate is a baby who has been fed. As at that time, I had low milk supply. The breast milk wasn't coming. No matter what, I was doing my master's, and it happened to be around COVID, lockdown times. So I was just stressed. No matter what I did, I remember taking medication. The breast milk was just not coming. So at the hospital too, they kept on telling me, oh, try, just be giving the breast to the baby, let the baby suck. The milk is going to come. And it was traumatizing. My body wasn't producing the milk. And then the hospital too is telling me that that is the best thing for me to do. So, but luckily this time around, during the early days, it wasn't coming. But then as the baby kept on sucking for some time, it started flowing. And just as Jeanette said, she had a lazy daughter. My daughter is the same too. When she starts a little, and then she flees, and she'll wake up again, and she'll be crying because she's hungry. So I had to also get a breast milk pump to express the milk, and right now things are a bit okay. But with my first child, it was very difficult for me. Yeah, I didn't do anything. Yeah.
Thank you, Mina. Now, Ditope, I want us to discuss this. You know, a lot of mothers will tell you that so before I moved to the UK, I used to do infant feeding counseling in some hospitals in Ghana, some clinics. And then you're talking, I mean, I was really young then, I wasn't married. You're telling mothers, everybody has the capacity to be able to produce enough breast milk. I remember someone telling me, you've never had a child before, so you don't know what you are talking about. I mean, in the literature, the evidence tells us that irrespective of the size of your breast, you know, every mother should be able to produce enough breast milk. Now, Mina said, it depends on, at the end of the day, ultimately, what you want is your child to be full. Luckily, she mentioned the fact that she was stressed. I just wanted you to touch on this notion that sometimes babies don't get full, and that is why mothers tend to introduce other milks or artificial milk.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. Over and above the fact that she said she had inadequate breast milk supply. Yes, you are right. She was stressed. She was stressed because there's a link between the production of milk and so, but in most cases it will be excessive stress. I can understand that maybe masters was really, because we also need to stressful. Be careful, because everybody has any form of stress, but we have that severe stress that is also able to affect how your brain works, and also the release of hormones. I know we have scientific and
oxytocin.
Yes, I wanted to say, okay, or should I say it? Because I was thinking we are coming to the practical.
Yeah, so no, it's fine. Just make it lay.
Yes,
yeah, don't mind me.
Lay and not scientific. Yes, those hormones that get released. Maybe Mina had deadlines, with studying comes the deadlines, having to read and all those things. And they are the one that really affected your breast milk supply. But I'm happy that you managed to come up with one strategy, which was to express and give it to the child, because the expression itself was also stimulating, over and above the fact that when the child suckles, there's that stimulation of breast milk supply. Even your action also assisted, and I really applaud you for doing that. Keep on pushing you need to keep on pushing. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Nothing that is good in life comes easy.
Yes. Thank you, Ditope.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess what I also wanted to add to that is the fact that, like we are saying, it's because you were stressed. And as the topic was trying to explain, there's a link between stress and the production of breast milk. So when mothers keep saying, oh, what's for me? I don't produce enough milk. I don't think there is anything. It's only because you are not producing, because it's a vicious cycle, because you are stressed. People come home and then, they don't get help, or you're thinking about, in Mina's case, your academic work and then finances and other children, so those are the things that would affect the production of the milk. But I really want to debunk that notion that, oh, as for me, there are mothers who say, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. I cannot produce milk. Please, Ditope, tell me this is not, I am right, that there is nothing like, there is always a cause. Something causes that. And if all those factors are taken into consideration, you are not stressed, you are well, ideally every mother should be able to produce some milk. Is that true?
You are right, unless if you have some form of condition, but it's rare. It's only happens in less than 1% of the population. Majority of us are supposed to be able to breastfeed, stressful or not stressful. Yes, the hormones that you are producing during pregnancy also assist you in that. That is why we are also saying you can even witness if you fell pregnant, whether you gave birth or did not give birth. The fact that your hormones were once stimulated, you are able to produce such milk. So yes, you are right. We need to debunk it. It's a myth. In most cases, to tell the honest truth, is we do not push hard enough because there are alternatives. I don't produce enough, then they'll bring an infant formula for you to give. And it's like you're saying, it's a vicious cycle. Once I give that formula to my child, the child is full. Remember, the stomach of a child is almost like a nut, pea size, so small. So whatever you're giving, the child will be full. Yeah. And if the child is full, she's not going to latch on the breast, then nothing will happen. If there's no stimulation, the child will not bring the milk. And you'll be saying, yeah, I told you that I have
I don't have milk.
If we did not have an easier alternative, I'm telling you, we wouldn't be here talking about what we're talking about now. Because now it's very easy. You go buy, whether you can, and the challenge is whether you are able to afford or not able to afford, they still go and buy. And after buying infant formula, what do? They do all sorts of things. They over dilute those formulas, even if they do it appropriately. That is not what we're supposed to be doing. This child, God gave everything. God gave you the pregnancy and also gave you the resources. And your number one resource is your breast milk. You shouldn't be spending all the other resources that you have on anything except
apart from that.
Milk. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Now, let me take you to some evidence. So there is an increasing body of research suggesting parents are influenced by multiple sociocultural factors, which interact to guide a mother's infant feeding decisions. We've talked about practical issues, challenges. Now, let's talk about sociocultural factors that affect breastfeeding. And I don't know who wants to go first. Any factors within the community that we know we can talk about that affects we've talked about the personal challenges we face. What about the community? What is it within the community? Janet wants to start. Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to say, I think one of the things that I have witnessed affect a lot of mothers. Thankfully, I didn't face that, or even if it came, because I had the knowledge, I was able to stand for what was right. One of the things is people think, or let me say Ghana, I know a lot of mothers who are working class think that it's classy to give your child infant formula rather than breast milk. And so I think maybe in the past, because of how expensive it was, if you could buy it, then it means you were of a certain class. So they have that behind they still have that in their minds and they are doing that, but you're really depriving the child of something they need. Why would you leave that and give your child cow's milk when you can produce milk, enough milk? I say that with caution because I have a very good friend who had twins, and it was completely impossible for her to do exclusive for 6 months. She tried for 3 months. She is also a dietitian, a nutritionist, and she called me one day. She was like, Janet, I feel so bad because I tell people to do this, but my body is not. I can't keep going on. She was getting ill, and her children were the very, very hungry type of children who would breastfeed her, and it was beginning to become a health issue for her. And that's why I say it with caution. You have the ability, like we've been told by all the experts, that you have the ability to produce enough milk, but sometimes when there's multiple births, it becomes a challenge. Yeah, but the sociocultural thing I was talking about, some people feel it's always classy. They'll just mix it and their child is having the bottle. And sometimes what I tell people is, you can, if it's the bottle you want, if the child is more than 6 months, it's good. Express the breast milk. Make sure what you are giving the child is yours, it's from your body. That God put the child in your body, and you've come out, you've had the child. So why would you like to give something else? And breast milk is readily available. It's cheap. You don't have to warm anything. So yeah, people think it's classy too, or some people thought. I don't know what the statistics is now. I think that affects.
That's one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Janet. Ditope, do you want to add some of these sociocultural barriers?
Okay, yes. Another thing that from literature that shows that pushes mothers to not to exclusively breastfeed, it's the crying of a baby. It came out in a lot of papers. Whenever you ask a mother, why are you not breastfeeding exclusively, they'll tell you that, the child cries. And again, we know there are several reasons why the child will be crying. And believe you me, not being fed is not one of them, because if he cries for food and you give food, which would be the breast, the child should be able to keep quiet. So, but so that is one of the key challenge, mother reporting that the child is crying. And like I said, if the child cries, try to do all sorts of things, try to establish why is the child crying. We know there are issues of colic, and we have myriads and myriads of multiples of solutions that can be given to assist such children. But that is never, and it should never ever be used as a reason to introduce complementary feed or to introduce any other thing before time. Because as much as we think they introduce another milk, they're also not introducing that. They start giving all sorts of things. You literally, get amazed to say, can I really be giving this particular thing to a child who's still small, gastrointestinal tract still small, and all those sort of things that are happening. So yeah, the crying of a baby is a challenge. So my advice will be, establish why a child is crying, deal with that, or you can think of giving any other thing. Thank you.
So again, I'm sure mothers might struggle. If you're struggling to establish what that is, there is support out there that, here in the UK, lots of support, so you just need to reach out to the appropriate person or group, and they will provide you with that support. Nusrat, UK experience, anything you can share with us? Challenges, what are some of the things causing us to struggle, factors influencing people's decisions to breastfeed or not to breastfeed? Yeah.
I think I've forgotten about the other lady's name. Is it Janet?
Yeah, Janet. Yeah.
I think she said something like that. Especially even in the UK, she said about Ghana, but even in the UK, if you are breastfeeding, people see you as maybe because you can afford the formula. That's why you are being stingy or you don't want to use your money. Even they will say, oh, because you were a nurse, that's why she doesn't even want to use her money, because people just want to show off. Oh, in my baby, like when you go to Sure Start, the play group, some of them will be missing their milks, and like I use SMA, this one, oh, I use Aptamil. So you think you cannot say, when you say you use breast milk, it doesn't show anything. So sometimes the way these things are, especially in the market or in the media, the way these things are just being advertised, it just makes you feel like, oh, let me try it. Because with those adverts, the way they show how the children grow with this artificial milk, it's hardly you see an advert on TV about breast milk. I think,
breast milk.
Yeah, like breastfeeding on television. I don't know whether I've seen one before.
No, I doubt.
With Formula One, you see those things, and they portray how the children are growing. So when you compare all those things, you feel like, oh, am I being left out, or do I have to just join them? So I think we just need to support the mothers. We just need to encourage them to ask questions. Just if you don't have, because of late, let me just add this one to it. I wanted to be a health visitor. So I went for an interview, and we were about 20 people in the room, and I was the only Black person. So the lady said, oh, we'll get the result in 2 days' time. But just the same day, she called me in the evening and said, Nusra, you got it. I was like, oh, it's not even the 2 days. But when I phoned her, she said, we want more of the minority group to join, because we've lacked. Because if I've given birth, for instance, and I'm getting a health visitor and the person is from minority group, I think I will feel more relaxed. I can share, I can discuss so many stuff with them than to see maybe, for instance, a white young lady about 20 years who have not even had a child. I don't want to tell her my private stuff. I'll just keep it to myself. So it's just something.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah, and
I get you.
Thing, yes, the other thing is, while we're still talking about the issues of culture, and that's an area that I think as healthcare workers, we are really not adequately, and I'm saying this with caution, we're really not adequately infiltrating. And like I said, we normally educate the mother, but do not educate all the support, his or her, her support system at home. So there's that. I'm not sure it's only happening in South Africa, or it's something that is happening within the African culture. The issue of expressing breast milk, all those sort of stories that you get to say it's, once you expose that breast milk to light or to the environment, then it is contaminated. And we know that in most cases, the best thing that they say to you, and to make you not to do whatever they want to do, they'll tell you about death. The child will die, not even sick. It's just moved from you giving an express breast milk and the child demising, and no mother wants to hear that. All those stories, especially when we have such stories, but not necessarily being caused by expression of breast milk. So I'll always reiterate the fact that until we go deeper into our communities, talk to the supporters, talk to husbands who brings an infant formula, because according to them, my in-laws will see that, yes, this is the right husband, because all of a sudden I'm bringing all sort of infant formula in the house to show that I'm supporting. So those are the people that we should be targeting. I'm not saying move away from the mother. You have given enough information to the mother. Let's change our target strategies. Let's go in and talk to our supporters.
The other support network.
If it's okay, I'll just quickly chip in for the UK situation.
Okay, Mina, 1 second.
Can I chip this in? Hello?
I think you were speaking on each other. Mina, can you just hold on? After Janet, I'll come to you.
Yeah, thank you. So I was going to say about the UK, because there is this, thankfully the health visitors do well. when they come around. It's more of you and your husband, your spouse. They try to do things, because even when you're pregnant, you'd have to attend certain sessions with your husband or your partner or whoever the father of the child is. So they try to cover some grounds with that. One thing I've realized is the culture in the West or in the UK, for instance, because we are talking about the UK now, not to breastfeed. I think it's something new. It's only been a short while that they are emphasizing breastfeeding. And as a nutritionist, when I went for antenatal and everything, it's like you're given the choice. How are you going to feed your child? And until you say you are going to do exclusive breastfeeding, you don't really get all the information you need on breastfeeding. And I came home telling my husband, I'm like, why would they give mothers the choice? Because I know breastfeeding can be a struggle. And most people would not want to go through that struggle, wake up at night, feed 2-3 times before the morning. But that's maybe because it's a different setting and different laws, they have their own thing. So it's entirely up to you. You are given the option. What do you want to do? So if you say formula feeding, okay, then they'll try to give you all the information you need. But they can't really, they can't really advise. They can't really tell you do this because our laws are different. Another thing is you would go out, you're in the park, you are in public places, and some mothers find it so difficult. First of all, finding a place to breastfeed becomes a problem. I didn't care. I'm an African woman. I just have my breastfeed cover and I'm sitting in the middle of the park on one of the lovers benches and I'm breastfeeding. And I see people most of the time, not of African or Caribbean descent, staring at me in a way. I'm like, where is this primitive woman from? And in my mind, I'm like, you can look at me all you want because I have that knowledge and I know the importance of breastfeeding. So what I tell myself is, if anybody should walk up to me and say something, because there are some places, some people walk up and they tell you they are offended by what you are doing. They feel you're offending them by breastfeeding in public.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
that also deters a lot of women. You have no idea. Their confidence is deflated. They feel they are not enlightened enough if they are breastfeeding in public. And for you to exclusively breastfeed, you need to do it on demand. And you have your child with you. So you can't be giving your child something else when you're in town and be giving them breast milk when the child would get confused. They would prefer one over the other. So
indeed.
So we need to support each other, support the mothers. It goes beyond just the home. Let them have that conviction for themselves. I tell myself, if anybody walks up to me, I'll tell them, if you as an adult can eat anywhere, on the bus, in public places, why can't this baby, who I'm solely responsible for, eat anywhere? Why should I be in my home before I can breastfeed? You just have to cover up and breastfeed.
Yeah, Janet, thank you. I like that spirit. And if everyone could be like you, that would be great. Having said that, I do know that there are certain, cafes and people, I must say, organizations are trying hard these days. So you see a cafe or a restaurant that would actually say they are breast
baby friendly,
feeding, baby friendly, but more needs to be done is the point you're making. And amongst ourselves, people here, African immigrant people of Caribbean origin, we tend to go for events where we meet ourselves. Let us normalize this, let's not change because we are here and start looking at each other as if, this is not something we should be doing. Thank you, Janet, for sharing that. Mina, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. One sociocultural hindrance to breastfeeding here in Ghana, I would say, is lack of adequate knowledge, right?
Okay.
So, for instance, with my recent childbirth, the hospital had a lactation specialist. So I was even taught how to latch the baby properly, okay? But when I go home, I had this misunderstanding with my mom because she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, this is how to latch the baby properly. And I was the only one who was taught in the hospital. My mom wasn't taught there. My entire family wasn't taught there. So I remember my mom complaining that, oh, you these youths of today, you behave as if you know everything. And this is what we did. And it became a whole lot. Okay. So I think if in Ghana here, I think UK, you are lucky, you get people coming home to come and educate their family about some of these things. But Ghana, we don't have that. Okay, so it becomes a problem socially, like culturally, the community and everything. It becomes a problem because you are seen as too known, and it might not be so.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mina. And it goes back to that point that Ditope makes at the beginning, that our mothers and grandmothers have the experience and they think that they know, and so you should listen to them. Thank you so much. Now, let me share some research findings. So a recent systematic review that was conducted by actually colleagues of mine showed that sociocultural beliefs and practices that results, well, they highlighted a few of these sociocultural beliefs for Africans, considering colostrum as dirty or curdled milk, a curse, bad omen, so in certain communities, this still persists. The colostrum that comes out, that first yellowish milk that comes out from the breast, is discarded because certain people still feel that this is bad omen. Some people associate it, breastfeeding, with engaging in extramarital affairs. I've never heard that, but this is a study that was conducted among some African people. A fear of the evil eye. Oh yes. So another cultural barrier is that when you're breastfeeding outside and you expose your breast, you're exposing it to the evil eye. So, people can look at you and curse you, by looking at your bare breast. And this is a systematic review. The systematic review brings together several papers, evidence from several papers, several studies. Breastfeeding being associated with sagging breasts. No one mentioned that. So a lot of people think that when you breastfeed exclusively for so long, then the breast is going to sag. So you actually have some men who wouldn't want their wives to breastfeed like that because they don't want the breast to sag, So yeah, I just highlighted a few. Okay, now let me just take your take-home message. Nusrat, please, let me start from you. What is your take-home message? You said something about support, and you being a UK nurse, I just want you to highlight some of the support we have here. But before then, you mentioned something about you not taking, you said something about the job you had, representation. I think Nusrat is advocating that a lot of us of African and Caribbean origin need to get into the profession, not just health stuff, all these health professions, because then, we tend to understand the culture, we have the cultural competence, and we understand the issues that we face as a community. So I think we really have just a handful of people who are health visitors and who are in this profession who can provide support to our community. So we are just urging other people to consider taking this as a profession, or tell your children, your friends to get into, these kinds of professions. Okay, Nusrat, 2 minutes. Parting message.
I think you've said it all. You've taken everything from my mouth.
This was your point of taking.
So the only thing that if you are in UK especially, it depends on different community. For instance, in Manchester, and I know with everything, when they come, or community nurses or midwives, they've got about 10-15 minutes to spend with you. So before they come, it's be quite good to write all your questions down, because when they come, they are just in a hurry to get out. And some of them even have this notive that because you are African or Caribbean or something, we especially sometimes the way we talk, some of them even see it as being aggressive. So the moment that person is coming to your house, she's got that thing in their mind. They want to just come there quick and out. So if you got anything, you have to just write it down. There's so many supports, because they came to me and when I said I'm a nurse, she think I know everything. This is a mortgage. Oh, she think, oh, she's well to do. But there are some things about multivitamin for children and all other stuff that are given out free. If I've not asked them about some financial support, there were some leaflets and other stuff that she gave to me that really helped. So it's up to us. Sometimes we just need to ask. And we sometimes we think when you ask, they will report you to social service or anything. No, we need to ask them. We need to that's the one thing that I've learned. We just need to ask.
Thank you. Thank you. We need to ask questions. Write your questions down. You only have 15 minutes with a health visitor. Whatever your concerns are, please ask them. Ask them anything at all. And if they don't know, they would signpost you to the right resource. I have a colleague here, Alice. People on this on Healthy Hearts are familiar with Alice, a familiar face. I would like to just call her to say something quickly, and then I'll come back to my panel members. Alice, are you able to unmute yourself, please?
I'm actually taking a night walk and there's a lot of wind. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Oh, I was going to say something when you're talking about the cultural differences.
Okay.
There was a big debate in South Africa some time back when I was there, when somebody, a white person, abused a black woman or told them off for breastfeeding in public, and it was a big issue. There was a big campaign and a big debate. But what I got from all that is, you actually have to appreciate people's cultural. And this lady gave an example. If you met a black woman who's naked, the first thing she's going to do is cover her vagina. Sorry to use that. She's going to cover her vagina. So that is most important to her, to stay hidden. But if you meet a white person naked, what they're likely to cover is their breast. That's what they're going to cover. So it means that we view sex organs differently. So if you're breastfeeding in public, a white person is going to be offended because a breast is a sexual organ, And so when I understood that, and it's funny, we were just having a PhD brainstorming session, and these are some of the things we were discussing, cultural differences. And so I think in the future, we need to understand what the cultural differences are, and then appreciate each other's culture. Teach everybody to appreciate each other's culture. Even though breast is your sex organ, you can't show it in public. But in my culture, it's okay. So you need to appreciate mine, so I can appreciate yours. Thank you. There's more, but for another day. Wonderful discussion. Thank you for the good panel, and thanks for putting them together.
Thank you, Dr. Joan. Thank you so much. Janet, parting words.
So all I would say is just have that conviction. Know why you need to breastfeed. If you didn't know before, seek advice. Seek advice from health personnel. And one thing I have benefited from throughout my journey as a mother till now is seeking advice from other mothers. Sometimes you'd get some of the advice that you would know outright that it's not right, but you get so many tips that they have come up with, and it's practical. You won't find them in books, but you'd get those tips, and they might help you. So seek advice. That's what so far people have been saying, and it's so true. I used to discuss a lot with other mothers, and we used to share ideas, and I got so many tips, even from complementary feeding children who don't like vegetables, all those things you can do. But first of all, be convinced, know you are giving your child the best thing you can, their first immunity. So try your best. It's difficult, but you can do it. It's possible. And appreciate the challenges. They will come.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Mina, do you want to say something? Any last words? Or if not, that's okay. Ditope, please, final words.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think we cannot reiterate the importance of education as a way of liberating us. And I'm happy that the previous speaker said we need to know and tolerate each other. The challenge becomes when we want to impose our own and negate the other. If you can understand that we coexist, I think that will assist us. And another thing is, let us continue to advocate for breastfeeding. Let us continue to support it. Let us continue to make sure that we promote it, and most importantly, protect it at all levels. If we start at national level, countrywide level, or even globally, we will not be having all these challenges that we are having. So we don't have time to touch on all those challenges. We only focus on cultural aspects, but that is not the only thing that hinders exclusive breastfeeding. Thank you so much.
Indeed. And I see lots of comments in the chat box. I've been reading them. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time for me to read them out. I just want to thank everyone for all their contributions. There was one that just drew my attention. Even some husbands want baby to stop having breast milk so that they can take over. Well, the more reason why, Ditope and others were advocating.
Let them share. Let both husband and the child share. No problem.
Share the breast milk.
Yeah, there's enough for both. There's enough for
the breast milk. What happens to the milk that comes out then? All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for staying on, for your comments. I believe you would all agree with me that it's been a very interesting discussion. It was short. We needed more time. And as Ditope said, this is just one of the challenges. Cultural challenges is just one group. There's so many other challenges, and perhaps in the future we may come back and focus on feeding young children. So go beyond breastfeeding, because all of us here have experience, people have supported others. So we might want to touch on something else other than breastfeeding. And so just please follow us on social media to know when we are discussing that. But my final comments are that we need to change some of these negative cultural beliefs, like the ones that I mentioned, to do with colostrum, people witchcraft and their bad eye and all of those. So those ones we do know that are not helpful. Let's find a balance. We have some positive, cultural beliefs. We have some negative ones, and we do know there's a lot of education out there. So let us try and make changes, stick to the healthy or the good ones. And that's why CAHN organizes these sessions. It's for that reason that we have these sessions, to remind us, of what the negative ones are and what the positive ones are, so that, we can make changes, hopefully. So please do share. The link is going to be available, the YouTube link. Share this with family and friends who are not here today. If you've learned anything on here today, please do make sure you share it with your friend, your sister. That is how we can put the message out there. Education, once we constantly keep talking about it amongst ourselves, we will hopefully make a change and get to a point where we don't have lots of these cultural factors influencing our dietary or our infant feeding practices. So on this note, I'd like to thank our panel members so much. It was short notice, it's just a few days ago that I just contacted them. So for some of them, it was just today. Nusrat, I was like, Nusrat, please, can you join my panel today? So thank you so much for accepting to be part of today's discussion. I think it was a really good one, and I hope that I can call on you again in the future for another interesting discussion. I've taken too much time from the next session, so please do stay on. We have a physical activity session next week. I'm going to bring another panel. We're going to talk about fasting, because if our Muslim brothers and sisters are starting Ramadan, so we'll talk about fasting and how to have a healthy fasting, and that will be useful not only to Muslims, because Christians also do fast as well. So please join us next week as I bring another panel to have a discussion on fasting and healthy eating, nutrition, something like that. Yes. So thank you once again. Thank you all. Please do stay on for the next session. So Shekinah, Orlando, over to you.
Wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hibbah, and welcome to everyone that is staying on. I hope everybody enjoyed that seminar. So welcome to today's session. This is our fourth and final Pilates session of this series. Okay, for today's session, you'll need a mat, plenty of water, and a big, nice open space. All right, so let's get straight into it. Let's start with our warm-up. All right, so get my shoes ready. So what we're gonna do to start, so every move we do in the warm-up is gonna be 30 seconds. And all we're going to do to start off with is reach across. Okay, so we're going to bend that leg slightly, turn the hips towards the arm, and we're going to reach across for 30 seconds, people. Get ready, let's go. Let's get ready now. Just turn these chins up. All right, people, find a nice open space. Get ready. We're going to reach across in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Keep it nice and light. Nice long arms. Turn the legs. Hold down. Okay, next move. Half squat to reach. Squat down like so, and then reach up to the ceiling. Let's go. Get nice and low. 3. Not taking my knees. So legs around the hips. Nice and slow. Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Last move of the half raises. Raise up both my feet in. Be nice and strong. Down rock. Let's go 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's go calf raises. Keep that going, people. Rock back, raise up to the balls of your feet. 3, 2, 1. Give yourself 20 seconds. Take a quick water break. Okay, my people, back to your spaces. All right, so before we get into our main stretches, we're gonna work on some breath work. All right, we're gonna calm the body down, get the body ready to be stretched out. All right, so we've got 2 sets of 60 seconds. All right, our first minute will be 3 seconds in, so inhale through the nose, and then 3 seconds out. Okay, nice and gentle. Okay, try and clear the mind, calm the body down, relax the body during this time. All right, people, let's get ready now. So we've got 60 seconds of breath work, 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out, in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Calm the mind, calm the spirit. Close your eyes if you want to. Try not to fall asleep. Last 20 seconds. Three, 2, 1, and come back down to earth now, people. Relax there for 10 seconds. So our second set, now we're going to work a little bit harder. So we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 1, and then exhale for 4. Okay, people, let's try that now. Let's go. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. In for 4. In for 4, pause for 1, out for 4. Let's clear the mind. How often throughout the day do we get the time to just relax, focus on our breath, focus on getting that good air into our lungs, around the body to the working muscles. Keep going, people. 15 seconds. Three, 2, 1, and time, people. Okay, give yourself another 20 seconds. Take on some water, and then we're going to go into our first stretch. Let's go. Okay, people, back to your spaces now. Let's get into our stretches for the night. All right, so first stretch, we've got the straight-legged lunge. All right, so working on calves, hamstrings, glutes, slight isometric hold here in the quads, which is basically the muscle under tension without lengthening or shortening. All right, so we're going to work both sides. All right, so each stretch we do tonight, we'll do 2 sets of 60 seconds. Okay, so here's the move. So a slight bend, just ever so slight bend in the front leg, and the back leg's going to be nice and long. Okay, so stretch it nice and far, and you'll feel the stretch all the way through the leg, back of the leg. All right, so we're going to be here, chest up, shoulders back, and we're just going to hold nice and strong for 60 seconds. All right. On that back leg, really try and drive the heel to the floor. Okay, if you try and cement that heel to the floor, you'll feel the stretch more in the calves. Okay, so try to let your heel come up. Try and keep that heel cemented to the floor. All right, people, let's try that for 60 seconds. You can start on either side you want. Then you tuned up. We'll start on either side. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's stretch. Come on. This is a good time, good chance to work on your breath work as well. 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out. Hold. Yeah, keep holding. hold. 3, 2, 1. Go more for 15. Take the legs off. So remember the side you started with. Let's go on the opposite side now, okay, people? Let's get ready now. Straight leg lunge hold in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Really open the chest up. Oh. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Take the legs off. 20-second break. Stretch number 2 coming up. Okay, people, let's get ready. Bring your mats in now, so get your mats handy. So next stretch we've got is called the seal. All right, take my shoes off for this one. So we're going to be sat upright. See me here. Feet together, like so. And we're just going to push down with the elbows, push down at the knees. All right, so we're working the core, we're stretching the groin, hip flexors too. So we're here, hands together, and pushing downwards on the knees, like so, and hold. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can do go like this or this, but just make sure you're applying some pressure to the inside of the knees. You're pushing the knees towards the floor. All right, people. Second stretch, let's go. Again, 2 sets of 60 seconds. Get ready. Okay, get ready, people. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Oh, relax, stay where you are. So for our second set this time, our arms behind ourselves, but our fingertips are going to be facing us. So hands this way. Here, legs together. Drive those knees down to the floor. Push you can. All right. So hands this way. Get behind yourself here. Feet together. Drive the legs down. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Go. Make sure you work with your breathing. Last 20 seconds. Three. Give yourself a 20-second water break. Okay, people, we're back to our spaces now. Okay, 2 more moves to get through. All right, so next move, we've got the seated head pull. All right, so let me show you the move here. So working the hamstrings, the neck, all the muscles in the upper back. So here, on our bums, legs out, toes pointing upwards. What we're gonna do, hands on the head here, we're gonna pull down. Okay, just pull down nice and gentle to where you feel the stretch in the upper back. Here, keep those legs, keep those toes pointing up, and then hold for 6 seconds. All right, so legs nice and straight, toes pointed up, hand on the head, pull down ever so gently like so. Let's give it a try, people. Get ready. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And tight, people. Relax there. Take that neck off. Legs. So 1 more second. Now get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 10 seconds. Two, one, time for all. Well done, 3 moves down, 1 to go. Again, give yourself a 20-second water break. Okay, people, last move coming up. Okay, so this last move is a bit of a working set, all right? So we're working on strength and stability throughout the whole body, whilst also really working the form and the core. Okay, it's called the reverse tabletop. So watch me real quick. So we've got this angle. So fingers facing myself. And we're just gonna hold like so. All right, so we're gonna be here, down for 3 seconds, come up, hold for 3 seconds. Come down, 3 seconds. All right, again, we've got 2 sets of 60 seconds to finish. Watch again. Nice and strong here. Feet dug in. I'm just gonna raise. Hold there, 3, 2, 1. Come down, 3, 2, 1. All right, people, let's get ready now. Last move, let's go. Last move. On 3, 2, 1. Let's go. That's it, people. Nice and strong. Come on. Five, 2, 1. Let's shake the back up. Last one coming up, people. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Five seconds. Give yourself 20 seconds. Take on some water, and then we will finish with some breath work. Well done. Okay, people, back to your spaces. Let's calm the mind and the body back down with some breath work. All right, so we're going to inhale for 4 and we're going to exhale for 4. Okay, 45 seconds to finish. Let's get ready, people. In 3, 2, 1. Let's calm down. Let's go. Bring that body back to peace. 15 seconds. Three, 2, 1. And that's time, people. Well done, well done. Shake it all off. And that's time. Shekinah, are you in the house? Make sure if we've got anyone here. Let's see.
Hi, Orlando.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Amazing, amazing workout. How did you find it? It's been like 4 weeks of Pilates. How have you found it?
I feel like a whole new man.
Hey.
No, to be fair, I feel really good. It's definitely helped me with my day-to-day training and basketball. I feel much looser. I feel like I did when I was like 19, 20 years old, pulling out all different moves and stuff. Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good.
Good. That's good. That's amazing. And I know we've come to an end now. So what can we expect next week?
Yeah, so the next block will be split body routines, so split body circuits. So next week we'll start with the hardest one, which is the legs. All right, so from legs to core, then to upper body, and then rotate again for 6 weeks. Okay.
Thank you so much. You heard that from Orlando, guys. Next week is leg day, so get ready.
Oh,
get
yeah.
ready.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then next week as well, Dr. Hibbah mentioned that we'll have another panelist session. So it will be about fasting and other nutritional advice as well. So you guys can join us next week. And I know there were many questions in the chat box. So you can always email us at health@cahn.org.uk and we will get back to you. So thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next week at 6 p.m. See you, everyone.
Next week, people. Well done.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.